Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I have actually a highly requested video. A lot of people are actually wanting me to talk about my surgery experience removing my double vagina. I do have another video and I can link it down below for you, but that one kind of talks about my condition called Uterus Didelphys, and I know a lot of people subscribe to me actually also have it, which is super cool. I didn't realize so many people had the same condition as me. Anyway, if you are interested in kind of learning a little bit more about that, I can link that video down below. But that gives a little bit of information on what I have and why I have a vaginal septum that divides my vaginal canal into two separate parts. Basically, just a little bit of backstory. I found out that I had Uterus Didelphys back in March of 2018, and with Uterus Didelphys I have two uteruses, which leads down to two cervixes and then two vaginas. So like I said in my other video, it's basically like one vaginal canal with a septum going all the way down, kind of like your nose. If there was no kind of septum in the middle, it would just be one hole, which would be super weird in that case, but it's kind of like that. So I didn't realize I had this. I was never able to use tampons, and I didn't know why. I thought there was something wrong with me, so I went and got checked out, and you know, it wasn't obvious from the outside, so they had to do some internal exams and some ultrasounds to find out that I did indeed have a vaginal septum, which is why it was making it so hard for me to be able to use tampons. I was getting married in a month at that point, and obviously that was going to be a bit of an issue. So I was pretty adamant on getting it removed as soon as possible. So my dad, who is a pediatrician, he was able to kind of hook me up with a gynecologist, and she put me in for surgery like super quickly. The wait list was like, I think like 6 months, and she was able to fit me in that week. So I think I went in on a Monday or Tuesday, might have even been a Wednesday, and she got me in that Friday for surgery. So that's what I did, and I was super relieved because I was scared I was gonna have to wait till like, you know, 6 months after I was pregnant to get this done. Not pregnant. Pregnancy brain, I'm not pregnant. I was scared I would have to wait until like 5 or 6 months after I was married to get this procedure done, which would have totally sucked. But thankfully I was able to get that sorted as soon as possible. I'm just gonna jump ahead into my surgery experience because I know a lot of you following me have the same issue and are considering getting surgery for it. So I wanted to just give you a little bit of information on what the experience was like. Overall, it was a really easy procedure. It wasn't anything major, but I thought for fun I'd just kind of let you know of my experience because, you know, it's always fun and informative to kind of learn about other people's experiences before you go in, even though it could be totally different. I just thought it would be fun to share with you guys. I'm trying to remember the best I can. I had this surgery like 1.5 years ago now, so it's a little bit hard to remember. I really should have like written it down, but I wrote down everything that I do remember. So I know that I had to fast the night before my surgery because obviously they put you under, so they need your stomach to be empty so that, you know, I assume so that there's no vomiting or choking or breathing issues. So yeah, I fasted and that was no problem, easy peasy. I remember I went into the hospital that morning, and I have like a massive fear of needles, and they told me that I was gonna have to get blood work, and I started like panicking because I hate needles, and this was obviously before I was pregnant, and I had to get so many needles when I was pregnant, so I'm kind of over it now, but at the time, hated needles, couldn't handle them. So they told me right when I went in that I was gonna have to get blood work done, and I like flipped my shiz. I was so nervous, and then it ended up I didn't have to get blood work, and they were just, I don't know, got confused, but they gave me a lot of unnecessary stress by telling me that. But then I did have to do a urine sample, and I'm guessing that's probably just to make sure that I wasn't pregnant, even though that would have been nearly impossible because I couldn't even get a tampon in. But yeah, I did a urine sample, which was hard because I didn't know I was gonna have to do that, and I peed right before I went, and I wasn't drinking water, so that was a little challenging, but still easy stuff. Just did some paperwork when I went in. I changed into my gown, and everything was pretty swift. I changed into my gown, and they put me on the bed, like after I finished all my paperwork. They put me on just a little wheelie bed, and they wheeled me into the operating area. Not the operating room, but like kind of the waiting operating room. The operating waiting room? I don't know. But I was in there like all in my gown, ready to go basically, and I was there with my mom and the doctor, surgeon lady, who actually also helped me with my Didelphic pregnancy. But she came and kind of gave us a lowdown and let us know kind of what they were going to be doing, because it actually wasn't confirmed at the time that I had a double vagina, so they were just going to go in, and if I had one, they were going to remove it. But yeah, so she came and kind of let me know what they were doing, and she asked me what kind of anesthesia, I don't know, but she asked me which one I wanted, so I could have been like awake for it. I'm not about that. No, thank you. So I think I got the general anesthetic. That one puts you right to sleep. So I got that one because I didn't want to be aware. I didn't want to know what they were doing. I didn't want to hear things or hear them talking, or I didn't want to be aware of how many people were staring into my vagina. So yeah, I just wanted to sleep. So that's what I chose. Signed off the paperwork for that and went in. So I was nervous that I was gonna have to get an IV before I went in, because once again, like I said, I am so scared of needles. IVs are the worst. IVs are worse than blood work. And I was so scared, but they ended up giving me the gas first, which was wonderful. So if any of you are afraid of needles and stuff, you know, I can't say for sure if this is what they'll do, but for me, they didn't give me the needle until after they gave me the gas and I was asleep. I laid on the operating table, got all ready, and, you know, got to meet every single male and female doctor that was about to stare into my vagina. That was kind of awkward, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, so I met everyone, had a little chit chat. They gave me my gas. We kept chit chatting until I basically dozed off in the middle of my sentence. And then before I knew it, I was awake. And honestly, when you're under, I don't know if you have been under before, but if this is your first time, basically it feels like no time is passing at all. It feels like deeper than asleep. It feels like you're out and then you're awake, like super quickly. It almost feels long and short at the same time. But I woke up and it was like, holy crap, that just happened. And I felt like I was thinking straight in my head, but I couldn't open my eyes. I was like trying so hard to like open my eyes, but I felt like my eyes were like crossed like this. I don't know why, but I literally couldn't open my eyes. And because of just the drugs I was on, I started to panic. And I think just because I was irritated down in that area and there was pain in that area, I felt like I had to pee so badly, like painfully badly, that I started freaking out, and I was like trying to get up out of my bed, like yelling and crying and freaking out. And I was probably so annoying for the nurses, but I wasn't thinking straight. But I was trying to get up and climb out of my bed and find a washroom because I had to pee so badly. So then all of the nurses came rushing around my bed, and they came with a bedpan, and I was up on all fours, kind of like lifting my butt up, trying to pee in this bedpan, and I couldn't pee for the life of me. I don't know why. Like, maybe I didn't need to pee at all. I don't know. It could have just been like the sensations from the surgery that made me feel like I had to pee, but I couldn't pee at all. And then I was still freaking out because I still felt like I had to pee, but I couldn't pee. So then they just started inserting a catheter without even like asking me. Then again, I wasn't in the right mind to accept or decline anything really. but they started putting a catheter in, and that friggin' hurt like hell. I'm not trying to scare you, but I'm just trying to give you like my experience. This likely won't happen to you, but apparently I don't handle anesthetic very well. But yeah, so they started inserting a catheter and it hurt so badly, but I was like so weak and helpless that I couldn't do anything anyway. I just let them do it. But yeah, I eventually started coming to and like being more aware of my surroundings, finally opened my eyes and started to feel a little bit better. So they wheeled me to the recovery room and I just hung out there with my mom. And I didn't feel great, to be honest. I felt kind of queasy, and I tend to be like a pretty like queasy, pukey, nauseous person when stuff like that happens. And I just started feeling really nauseous, and they thought maybe it's because my stomach was empty, so they started giving me like crackers and stuff, and they brought like cold water for me to just take little sips and try to like fill my belly, because they had taken my IV out at this point. So just tried to fill my belly to kind of help me feel a little bit better, and it just was not doing it for me. It wasn't helping me. I ended up needing to pee finally, so I got up out of my bed to go to the bathroom because I said I could do it by myself, even though people offered to help me. I'm like, no, I'm fine. So then I went to the bathroom and I sat down to pee. I puked all over the floor. I tried to get to the garbage, tried to reach for the garbage, which was in the corner, but I couldn't. I ended up puking all over the floor. And then a nurse came in while I'm still like sitting on the toilet. She had to come like help me up and clean things up and help me wipe, and glamorous, let me tell you. It was glamorous. I went back to my bed. And they started getting concerned. They didn't want to let me leave until they knew I could keep fluids down. So what did that mean? If I couldn't keep fluids down, I needed an IV. But they already took my IV out. That means they had to put another one in. One word: hell. Anyway, so eventually once they got the IV in, I started feeling better because I had some fluids in me. And then started being able to eat some foods and drink some water, and I was able to start keeping it down, which was great. And then my fiance at the time, now my husband, but he showed up to the hospital with Miss Vicky's chips. I told him I was craving them badly, and he came to the hospital with those, and he was super sweet and wheeled me out of the hospital in wheelchair, that's what it's called. He wheeled me out of the hospital in a wheelchair, and I didn't realize this, but he said I was really loopy. Like I was literally like, when he was wheeling me out, I don't know why, but I was just crying and like sobbing, and I didn't know why, and I couldn't stop, but I just kept crying and crying. And just like saying the weirdest things and trying to keep myself composed, but I couldn't. I felt like I had no control over my body or my emotions or my mind or anything. But yeah, he said I was saying like the funniest things and whatever, but made it back to my house, and the next day was actually my birthday. And I was feeling pretty good by then, actually. And as for recovery, I know I'm sure a lot of you are curious about the recovery. It was not bad at all. It was really good, actually. There was no pain really at all. Maybe slight soreness, but nothing inhibiting, like nothing that would keep me from doing regular daily activities. So yeah, and then as for bleeding, also not very much. If I'm remembering correctly, I think it was like maybe the last half of your period. I guess everyone's periods are different. Mine are really heavy. So it was like heavy-ish, I think, for the first day, and quickly like got lighter and lighter and stopped bleeding. So it wasn't anything bad. So as for wait time before you can insert a tampon or do the dirty, so my wedding was basically exactly a month after surgery, and is this too much information? This is probably too much information. But no, I was not quite ready for anything to go in there yet. Oh, that's so awkward. I hope that's not too much information, but I did have to wait a while. Like I wasn't quite ready. I think a good wait time is honestly 2 months. I would say 2 months. For a tampon, maybe that's different. I'm not sure because I didn't actually need a tampon because I got pregnant the month after I got married. So yeah, anyway, but yeah, so I would say wait 2 months, but you might be able to do it after, you might be able to use a tampon after a month, maybe a month and a half. It's really all up to you and how you feel, because the more you heal, obviously, the less painful it is to put anything up there. So yeah, just go at your own pace, let it heal at its own rate, and yeah, so everything's been pretty good. I work completely normally down there. It's basically like any other normal hoo-ha vagina. And I still have my 2 cervixes, still have my 2 uteruses. That's never gonna change, but other than that, everything functions as normal, and I don't have any issues. And now that I'm not pregnant anymore and stuff, tampons work great. No problems at all. Yeah, I don't know. Overall, like, I don't mean to scare you guys with my experience. Obviously, like, I just didn't handle the surgery very well. Like that day, like with the puking and the anesthetic, like I didn't handle it well, but most people would. I'm just a wuss. But yeah, it was really easy. The recovery was really easy. I don't know. That's basically it. So if any of you guys have questions about the surgery or about uterus didelphys or pregnancy with uterus didelphys, feel free to leave comments down below. And if you're not comfortable leaving a comment down below, as it is kind of a intimate, personal, weird subject, some people might not be comfortable, feel free to follow me on Instagram and DM me. I've already had a few people actually do that, and we've had some great conversations over Instagram. So if you are interested in asking some questions or discussing some things, just follow my Instagram handle. It's at Natalie P. Christensen, and I'll also link that down below in the description. So feel free to follow me on Instagram, send me a message if you like, and we can have a little chat. Anyway, that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it was informative for some of you people that are interested in learning more. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Please like this video and subscribe. Hit that bell notification to be updated whenever I post, and stay tuned for more videos.